In light of recent world events and the fact that this is Suicide Awareness Month, Glaziar Gaming would like to say if you are dealing with abuse in any form or feel like harming yourself or others, please seek help. We've had a handful of friends from our graduating class take their lives or lose their battle with abuse. It's a heavy situation for everyone involved, so if you have a loved one that is going through a tough time, do what you can to help them. Or if you yourself feel like you're not good enough, you are. Just know that we here at Glaziar Gaming care about you.
Yes, we do. Thank you for that. And I want to throw in a lot of the time is a reach out and say hello. A lot of people that are not doing well mentally, one little acknowledgement of how are you doing today can be the difference. So, I mean, especially if you know there's a friend that might be struggling with that, just reach out. Just how's it going today? And that could be the difference between a bad day and a good day.
Sure.
So yeah, thank you. And let's get into the podcast. We are going to open up with the greatest pitcher of all time.
Quite possibly.
No, he is.
Okay.
He is. Just
proven.
It's proven, undebatable. Joe Ryan leads the Twins in strikeouts, 5 innings with 11 of them. They beat Liriano and Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
In the most strikeouts in their first 5 games.
5 innings.
In the most 5 innings.
He pitched 5 innings the other day. So he had 11 strikeouts.
Yeah, because that's 5 innings. That's all he needs. I mean, 5 innings, game's over. You gave Joe Ryan 1 inning, game's over.
Yeah. So I think pretty sure he struck out the side in the first inning too. So boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, wouldn't surprise me.
So would you
just count it as 2 innings?
Having Joe, we are not huge baseball people.
Nope.
But having Joe Ryan and the potential of what he has done so far and what he could be, was it worth trading Nelson Cruz for him?
Well, since it's a Minnesota team, I say now it's when are we trading Joe Ryan? But yeah, it was worth it. Nelson Cruz.
I think so. We weren't doing anything we weren't doing anything this year.
Still not doing anything.
Yeah. Eliminated from the playoffs.
Speaking of playoffs, WNBA playoffs are going on. They start today.
Oh, I saw those. I saw the graphics. The Lynx are like 4th highest.
But I don't get how they work because the Lynx are 2nd in their conference, and that's like 3rd overall. Okay, the Lynx are not listed as part of the playoffs.
I don't know.
I was looking it up and I couldn't
I know we had
one of the teams was like 11 and 30 and the Lynx were 29 and 11 or something like that. Like,
see, I know like 2 years ago or a year ago we had the Rookie of the Year. So like we were good.
They're good this year too. They were 2nd in their conference.
We have we talked about her a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, she had 3 2020
Sylvia Fowles.
Yeah.
Sylvia Fowles. So like we have her. We got the Rookie of the Year.
Yeah. Well, apparently it's not good enough. Apparently having the 2nd best record in the conference, 3rd best in the league is not good enough to make the playoffs.
Well, no, because I saw the thing and they were like chances to win the thing. We were like our odds to win the championship was like plus 400 or something like that.
Okay, so the first round. Okay, they're part of the 2nd round. That's where I was confused because they don't play for 3 more days.
Okay.
And they play against. It's like a bye week.
Okay.
So they are the number 3 seed, like I mentioned.
Okay.
And they play the lowest remaining seed. So today it's the 7 versus 6 and the 8 versus 5.
Okay.
So if 8 wins or 7 wins or whatever, like they play.
You got it. The lowest seed.
There's no chance they can play the Phoenix Mercury, even if every other like.
Okay.
Yeah. So they play either the New York Liberty, the Dallas Wings, Chicago Sky, or Phoenix Mercury.
Got it.
They all play tonight.
All I know is that
start until 10.
All I know is Candace Parker is on the Sky.
But anyway, I just thought it was so. Yeah, Lynx are in the playoffs, and I didn't understand it until like just now. But other basketball news, NBA. Well, JJ Reddick retires. I thought that was pretty big.
I'm sure he could contribute to any team. He's still, but good for him.
But for him, I feel like at this point in his career, there's got to be like a money versus playtime equilibrium in order to bring him back. And at this point, it's like, well, he was playing at like 10 million a year or something like that his last year, which is, I feel like, more than any team contender can give him.
Yeah.
So he's like, I'm not going to play for 10 million a year again if that means I'm not going to do anything.
Right.
If I come back, it's for a ring, but all the teams that are like vying for a ring don't have the money that it would take to bring me back. I'm excited for him. He's one of the best pure shooters, super underrated, crafty guy, scrappy.
Yeah, can move great without the ball.
Deceptive speed, something like just one of those guys. Definitely not a top 100 player, but
maybe in his prime. He sure
maybe
was
in his prime, but somebody who's currently a top 100 player is DeAngelo Russell.
Mm-hmm.
So is Anthony Edwards.
Mm-hmm. So is Cat.
Yep. 3 top 100 players. Doesn't sound like we need another one. Doesn't sound like we need to trade any of those guys away.
Any of the 3.
Yeah.
And there's been a lot of bad, whether it's Timberwolves fans or just the media in general, bad talking DeAngelo Russell. But I don't know how the top 100 is graded, but he went up.
Yeah, he went up even though he didn't play.
Yeah, he didn't play that much.
Maybe it's because of certain retirements, certain players like Anthony Davis that also didn't play, moving down.
I also think
Anthony Davis was number 2 last year. It was LeBron, AD, 1, 2.
Yeah, I think also just the health issue. If DeAngelo Russell is healthy and we have Anthony Edwards healthy and we have Cat healthy, all 3 of those guys are healthy, they can make some noise. Like they can account for 80, 90, 100 points on any night. So just those 3. So
D'Lo, his best stat was 27 a year. Okay, no, it was 24, and that was with the Warriors. Okay, with the Nets, he averaged 21, and then his first year with the Nets, it was only 15.
Yeah, so his 21 year was All-Star.
Yeah, where he
All-Star
shot
year.
43 from the field, 37 from 3. He averaged 4 rebounds, 7 assists.
Yeah,
he's never averaged 7 outside of that 1 year. But yeah, so like you got D'Lo who can break 20. I would say career average. What's it at? Career average is 17.
Yeah, but for us, you feel like he's a 20 point per game guy.
For us, he's exactly 20.1.
Okay.
So
wow. Look what I know.
20.1. And then Cat, we know, just fucking nuts. And
Anthony Edwards' second half is insane. So I saw a thing. I don't know who the analysts were. Kendrick Perkins was on there. I know you like him for his outspoken take sometimes.
I liked him on the court, and I liked him before he got signed. So he used to come on to Fox Sports as a guest analyst. And I was like, okay, this dude's going to get signed probably by Fox. Then he got signed by ESPN. And ever since he got signed by ESPN, all of his takes are more like they're outlandish. They're here's a take scripted. So he was asked
who is going to be a better NBA player. Okay, Cade Cunningham or Anthony Edwards. What do you think he said?
He said Cade.
He said Anthony Edwards. He said he would take Anthony Edwards in a heartbeat.
Okay, well that's smart. He's a former player, so he should know. I'd rather take the guy that's proven he can score 20 some a game against pro talent.
NBA talent. Yeah. So
Cade's only played against college, and Cade wasn't even projected to be the top pick before the tournament.
Yeah, and then whoever the other analyst was also took Anthony Edwards. So why would we trade Anthony Edwards? More on that soon. Trade.
And like Cade might average 25 a game this year, but again, that means like I want to see Cade try to average what like Anthony Edwards the last few games of the season average. Those points. That's what I want to see from Ant this year. When D'Lo and Beasley are there and Cat's there, can Ant still have those stats?
Yeah.
And so Cade's going to have insane stats for his rookie season, but that doesn't mean he's going to be able to handle it once they start doing well and building people around him. Like,
yeah,
I would.
Ant's proven that he can. Like the thing with Anthony Edwards is when you're playing the games, like. Or when we're playing the games, when we're watching the games, which we can't because Bally Sports North doesn't have a signing deal with any TV network.
The Wolves aren't watchable anyway.
Yeah. So But when you're following the games or seeing highlights or whatever, when Anthony Edwards is on, like the offense just goes through him.
Yep.
And that's okay. Like that's okay to have that secondary player where the offense can go through them. And I think DeAngelo can do that same thing, and Cat can obviously do that same thing. So just having that option.
Well, and that's why. So
Yeah.
Cat has had like really good seasons when he had Jeff Teague, Ricky Rubio, and like having a distributing point guard.
Yeah.
And so it would be nice to make sure that D'Lo gets to at least 7 assists a game. And I think running through Ant would help D'Lo be a better distributor.
Yeah, I think both. I like D'Lo can play off the ball. He played off the ball with Ricky, and
with the Warriors.
Yeah, and so I mean, a pick and roll with Anthony Edwards or D'Angelo Russell and Cat is going to be diabolical.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's smart. Again, like I said, I'm not as big of a fan of Kendrick Perkins as of late, just because he signed on a TV deal and completely changed his mentality. Like he was a lot more like Steven Jackson before he got signed, where everything was just like straight truth and like I'll be harsh if I have to sort of type. Now it's more of a, I don't know. It's like, it seems forced, scripted. I don't know a good word for it, but Kendrick Perkins has fallen off for me as like an analyst, which tends to happen a lot with former athletes. Like they come on as a guest and people are like, this person's going to be a great analyst. And then they become an analyst and all of a sudden they're just like, everybody was talking up RG3. And then he goes on, and all of a sudden, the first day RG3 was calling a game, everybody was like, "Oh, this is terrible." It was like they're great as a guest, but then once they get signed on, they are told what they have to say, and they can only repeat themselves. People want to see realness. That's why shows like Pat McAfee Show and like a lot of podcasts are popular, because people are allowed to be themselves. People are allowed to speak their mind when you don't have a producer speaking in your ear saying like, "You can't say that." Oh, make sure you talk about the Lakers today, make like just that sort of thing. But yeah, you mentioned like, why would we trade Anthony Edwards? The Timberwolves are now the #1 betting odds to land Ben Simmons. Well, Gersson Rosas was fired. And on that same day that he was fired, the Timberwolves became the #1 odds to land Ben Simmons. Wasn't sure if that was coincidence or not, but
yeah, I think it was,
he was having an affair with an assistant.
Yeah. And I believe the
allegedly, I don't know if we can say that.
Allegedly. And there was there's another employee that was taken off the Timberwolves website as well. So, we'll let that.
And wasn't that person the assistant?
They were, it could have been. It could have been. Everyone was very confused because everyone felt like he was doing a very good job with what he had, like
which he was
the roster
doing a good
he had.
Job.
Yeah, he missed on Culver, obviously. He missed on Culver, but
when we drafted Culver, I texted you saying I have no idea who that is.
Who the hell is that? Same thing.
So it was just kind of like, I don't know, when we drafted Levine, I was happy about Levine because I actually knew who he was. And when we drafted Culver, it was just I have no idea who this guy is.
Yeah.
Why are you picking this guy?
And he admitted his mistake, and we got good player out of it. So so I don't think it was it had nothing to do with the roster that was built or how we were winning.
Seems almost 100% personal.
Yeah. And it was some sort of misconduct. Which is
disappointing because he was the first person of Latin descent to be the president of operations for a team.
Yeah. But Gupta
he's the first person of Middle Eastern or Indian descent to be even though he's
like an interim, I think.
Shams Charania said that he was the new president of basketball operations, while Woj said he was interim.
Yeah. Okay. So they
it was reported two different ways.
The Wolves are doing a press conference at 10 a.m. on Monday. And that Glenn Taylor will be there. And then as well as Alex Rodriguez and Mark Laurie. So they will all be there to hopefully make some light of this whole situation and to possibly name going forward. I know there's been a lot of links that they are enamored with Elton Brand.
No.
Philadelphia.
No.
I know Gupta is very well respected throughout the league, so I would like to see him get.
I'd rather have Gupta. I'd rather have somebody that's never done it before than Elton Brand. I don't think Elton Brand's done a good job.
Yeah, they said they want to get Elton Brand away from Daryl Morey because I think Daryl Morey's been the whole the whole problem.
And before Daryl Morey was there, it was the other guy, and it was Doc Rivers. It's Elton Brand is just clearly maybe he would be fine if it was like, I don't know, better. Yeah. No, my final thing, I don't want Elton Brand, please.
Yeah, I'd rather have Gupta. I know I've seen a lot of positive things with him. So,
and like, what's the harm in giving him a chance over Brand?
Yeah.
Like, oh, he ends up being a fail. Well, Brand is a good chance he fails too.
Yeah, Gupta knows the team better too.
Absolutely. Let's ask Kat. Better. Kat was frustrated with Rosas being fired. Like, ask Kat. Like, here you go.
Before.
You want to make Kat
I know.
happy?
Yeah, I wanted to say this too. I am 100% for getting your star players involved. And I don't mean that as like let's bring them in and have them hire somebody. No, like,
give us 3 names.
Communication with that player is key to your franchise's success.
Absolutely. So let's go to Kat and be like, who are 3 people that you've liked? Do you know anybody? First of all, do you care about this? Yes. Okay. Have you been paying attention? Do you know anybody's names that you can think of? Yeah. Okay. Then give us those names.
Yeah.
Who do you like? As far as it needs to go.
Who do you like? Well, I'd always want to play with DeAngelo Russell.
Okay. What type of personality what type of personality are you looking for? I'd like him to be a little bit like good communication. I'd like for him to be it would be great if he was a former player and know what we went through, or maybe she's a former player and know what she went through. Like I just talk to Kat. Like we should be talking to Kat. And then if Kat says, I want D'Lo to have an opinion, ask
Bring
D'Lo.
him in. Yeah. I mean, in my opinion, those are the leaders of the team. Those 2.
Absolutely. And then from a selfish standpoint, like as the owner or GM, like if A-Rod goes, okay, well, like if that those people that they said that's who you ended up going with and they don't work, you tell Kat like, hey, we went with your guy. So then next time you can be like, we're going with our guy. Sorry.
Yeah.
Like I feel like there's no downside to just talking to your star player. Downside. You hear that, Matt LaFleur? There's no downside to just talking to your star player. Speaking of star players though, and we mentioned the Timberwolves are the number 1 betting odds now with Rosas gone.
Okay.
Ben Simmons officially reported he will not be showing up to the Sixers and will not be playing for them. So not only is he not showing up to camp, he most likely will be sitting out games until he is traded. Doc Rivers made a statement saying that they want to keep him. I don't see how that happens if he's not going to play.
We can easily make a good run in the playoffs with Ben Simmons.
I get he's a good player, like a great player, not even good. He's a great player.
Yeah.
But again, every time, the longer you wait and the more things that you speak, if you let Ben keep
the
talking,
more things he says,
the more things he said, the more you started out with a James Harden offer, and then you went to a James Wiseman, Andrew Wiggins, and 2 first-round picks.
They're Dennis Schroedering themselves. Themselves.
Then you had a chance at Lillard, and you're to the point of like people are saying, We'll give you Taurean Prince and
Malik Beasley, Taurean Prince, Josh Okogie, 2 firsts and 2 seconds. That's what
right. Like the longer you wait, the value goes down. And like go ahead and play hardball. But if Simmons doesn't play, you might not
him.
Right, you're
paying him. Still.
You have to.
Yeah.
You have to pay him, and that's why the new CBA, which has a opt out, the owners are 100% going to opt out of the CBA, and this whole player sitting out thing is going to come to an end. Because I think the owners are just done.
Yeah.
Because
I mean, like, okay, so yeah, players sitting out because they're not happy.
Right. Like, in my opinion, you can go ahead and keep your fully guaranteed contracts, but just like the NFL, if you sit out, you don't get paid. Because you're paid to bring, like, part of your contract is because of bringing wins to the team and talent, and the other part of your contract is entertainment value, people paying to come see you.
Exactly.
Well, you're not helping with the win, and you're not helping with the entertainment. Nobody's coming to come see you anymore, so you don't get a dollar.
Yeah.
So I think that's what's going to happen. It'll get ugly. I think the next CBA agreements between NBA and NBA PA going to be disgusting. So they appointed a new player president last year, I think. Good luck. But anyway, Ben Simmons, speaking of like value, Philadelphia Sports Network, phillysportsnetwork.com asked if the Wolves would be able to trade Anthony Edwards for Ben Simmons.
Yeah. Could Anthony Edwards be on the table for Ben Simmons?
And just
from Philly Sports Network.
Well, so yeah, there you go. It's from a Philly network.
Yep.
So there, Philadelphia, like I sent you a bunch of those screenshots. A Philadelphia fan responds and says Simmons is worth 4 first-round picks and at least D'Lo and Anthony Edwards. But then you go through and you look, and every person from every other team is Ben Simmons can't play in the playoffs. Ben Simmons can't play in the fourth quarter. Ben Simmons isn't worth our sixth man. Like, so this is from Philly. So like just a straight up answer, no. Anthony Edwards is not on the
even
table.
Straight up.
I think and with Cat's relationship with D'Lo, there's a good chance D'Lo's not on the table. Yeah. So, and like we mentioned, that just means there's a chance that the Wolves don't get Simmons because the value that the Philly sees him at versus the Timberwolves and the rest of the league views Simmons at now. Like you're probably like one team feels like they lost. It rarely ever happens where they're like, yep, both sides feel good about this trade.
Yeah.
The longer you let Simmons go, the more likely Philly's the one that goes off saying we lost this trade. Yeah. So like, I think there are still good offers out there.
Yeah.
I think the Mavericks and the Nuggets. I think the Nuggets could get so like they
got assets. Well, now you can't Aaron Gordon. You can't do.
They could get all the Thunder have 17,000 picks.
Yeah, the Thunder could
to get at least like 6,000.
No, because you know what they would say? They would say we want SGA, and then the Thunder would hang up. So
they were looking to trade him before they signed him apparently. But like Lou Dort and 2 first-round picks, I get it. It sounds ridiculous, and it sounds like he's worth so much more. I get it, but at this point, and the longer it goes on, like James Harden, at one point, you would have thought if James Harden gets traded, he's going to be worth at least 6 first-round picks and a star player. He did not end up going for a star player and 6 first-round picks, and that's because
the Anthony Edwards, Anthony Davis deal was the closest thing we had to one of those blockbuster things,
and that's because Anthony Davis kept playing, and he kept he didn't
increasing
really say
his
anything.
Value. Yeah,
he kept playing. He kept putting out stats. Like the difference between Kyrie was another one of those guys that when he was traded to the Celtics or something, it was like they got minimal value, or it was somebody like that.
Yeah, it was like Isaiah Thomas and someone else.
But it was like, wow, this seems like a steal on paper. Like this player should be worth way more. It's just not going to happen. So during our little break, we talked about, I think, Myles Turner 100%. I'd rather if I'm the Bulls, or I'm the Wolves, if I'm the Wolves,
if I'm the Bulls, I'd do Turner too. I think
if I'm the Wolves, I think we do that. Beasley, Prince, 2 first, 2 second for Simmons. And if the Sixers say no, I think you move on. You say you tried, and you go get a big to put next to Cat, because Cat's not a 5. I get it. He's 7 feet tall. He's not a 5. Positionless basketball is what they call it nowadays, but like the goal is to win a championship, not the playoffs. And they match up well with teams like the Bulls, the Heat, the Suns. They match up well with a lot the Warriors. They match up really well with. They swept the Jazz last year already. It's like they do well with the Jazz. But when you see the Lakers, the Bucks, the Nets, I think they destroy us.
See, the defensive centers we tend to do a really good job against. Rudy Gobert. Cat has his number.
The offensive centers
he does
destroy us.
He does all right, but offensive centers: Anthony Davis, Sabonis, Jokic. Did I say AD?
You said AD first. Yep.
So all those like offensive centers are really tough. Embiid, yeah. Defensive wise, defensive centers are typically known for protecting the rim, but when you have the greatest shooting big man in history, that's hard for them to do. Defend the rim when Cat's out there chucking up threes. So I think getting a defensive center of our own could be the play.
I think that's been the play for. It's similar to the Vikings. O-line's been an issue for years. The Timberwolves have had a weak backbone in the center for years. They when Tyson Chandler a few years ago was available, I was like, he's old, but put him out there. When Nene was there, I was like, go grab him. Get a guy who wants to just play defense 6 points a game, and he's fine with it.
Yeah,
he's gonna average 6. Yeah,
the last center we had was at the time the second best offensive center in the league, Nikola Pekovic. Yeah, Nikola Pekovic. So no one could stop him.
Nope.
He was 6'10", but he was 360 pounds.
He was just a bulldozer.
Torqued.
And then he got hurt. But just go get a defensive player. Like, I'd be fine with somebody like a JaVale McGee.
Yeah, if Gupta is looking to, kind of make a splash, try to make the Simmons deal go through. He used to work in Philly, if I'm not mistaken. Gupta did. Sure. So I think he's got ties kind of that organization. So maybe he'll be better to, kind of get the ball rolling or get the gears moving over there. Whereas maybe Rosas was too afraid to pull the trigger. It also depends what personnel is included in that.
also scores well on us.
Yeah.
Just want to put I was thinking, well, like, who would I want for them to get? But anyway, overall, I would
Steven Adams would be
Steven Adams would be perfect. And they want to get rid of his contract. They don't like his contract. So
great free throw shooter.
Yeah.
Great free throw shooter.
He has a good ladder shot, like that short corner.
Best pick and roll, best picker in the league.
Best picker with the best pick and roll shooter for a couple seasons with D'Lo.
Yeah.
Cat can run his point forward that he wants to do. And
wouldn't be fine about that.
I would.
Ant coming off a screen is just scary to think about anyway. So
I think they need a center. I think the Wolves need a center to move Cat to 4. It's not like you said, game thing. It's not like move Cat to 4 and his overall goes up. No, it's like move Cat to 4 because his play style is not a center. It's just like AD is 7 feet tall. AD hates playing center.
Yeah,
probably hates it.
Go make your offer for Simmons and do what you said, a week or two ago, where you're like, this is our final offer. If you say no, we're not going to be calling back. Something like that.
That's fine. Yep.
Give them a little bit. If that doesn't work, send that out for Simmons. If they say no, be like, okay, see you.
And just like anything in life, in anyone who's like listening, just the Wolves. You tried, you failed, just move on with it. Like if you go for Simmons and they say no, be like, that's okay. You see that girl, your crush, you like her, you ask her out, she says no. Now you know.
Yeah.
Like there you go. That's all you need to know. You said no.
Speaking of, you said girl and crush, and it just reminded me. My girlfriend showed me a TikTok today of a woman getting married to her husband, to her future husband. They weren't married yet. She's reading her vows. Okay. And she's emotional. And she's like, I promise to watch basketball with you. I promise to cheer whenever LeBron or Giannis hits a buzzer beater. And then the guy started getting emotional too. And she's like, oh, and then she put her hand out and like touched his shoulder whenever. And then she said, and I promise to cry with you every time the Timberwolves make a draft pick or whatever. And I was like, ouch. That feels
so true though. I promise to cry with you every time Kirk Cousins has less than 2 seconds to throw the ball. That's relatable. But anyway, overall, you try, you fail. Go get somebody else that would make the team better. This is Gupta's chance to prove like you're interim. Make a move because we're itching to at least we want to make the playoffs this year.
You have the pieces to go get another star.
Championship should be your goal.
Yeah.
Do you have what you need right now to win a championship? No, absolutely not.
No. You can make the playoffs if all things go right.
I agree. If everybody stays healthy, nobody misses a single game, and everybody plays to your full potential, you can make the playoffs. Like that means, okay, we need to change that statement to if everybody's healthy and everybody plays to full potential, we win the championship.
Yeah.
And I don't feel that way about the team right now.
Yeah. They have the pieces to go get another star. So go get another star.
Yeah. Just do it. Just try.
Do it. When are people going to be looking at the Timberwolves and being like, oh my God, they got D'Lo, they got Ant, they got Cat, they got Simmons or Turner too. Like we've never had the star power. Last time we had the star power, we lost in the Western Conference Finals. So
absolutely. Yep. So just do it. Just make a shot, Timberwolves. If not, as Alex Rodriguez, if you're listening, Mark Laurie, if you're listening, I have like $1. If you
can contribute,
I'll give you $1 and let me be in meetings and we'll tell you this is what you got.
We'll be in a corner. We'll have our booth. We'll have our headsets, writing little notes, and then we'll just speak up. We'll do a little presentation afterwards.
Yeah, something like clearly they need some sort of outside discussion because now, just make a move. Just make a move.
Yeah. They can't be like, how do the fans feel about our decision making? And that's where we come in. We'll be like, well, why did we draft Jarrett Culver? That's the first thing.
Yeah. Well, how about that? We won't bring up any past failures. Eyes on the future.
We'll just be what the fans think. We'll tell you what the fans think.
Speaking of eyes on the future, though, Kiril Kaprisov got a 5-year deal with the Wild.
About time.
Yeah, I mean, he was one of those players. They were waiting so long. He was debating on moving to the.
Yeah, he wanted to go play in Moscow or something.
Moscow, yep.
So and then he was like, wait, but I do really like playing. Like I do really like playing in Minnesota or whatever.
And the fans are huge fans of me.
It's not like rookie of the year. That would have sucked. Rookie of the year.
I mean, he's already better than Gretzky. Like he's
confirmed.
Joe Ryan. The Twins have the best pitcher in history, and the Wild now have the best hockey player ever.
Yeah, it's about time for Minnesota sports.
Yeah,
turn around.
It's about time for Minnesota sports to win their first championship.
Good for him. He's electric when he's out there. He's fun to watch.
He's fast.
He's young.
So he's not a big hockey fan. It's just like baseball, not a big hockey fan.
But big names.
But big names bring us in. So another thing, Timberwolves fans, like Timberwolves owners, like you want to bring people in, that'll get people to watch. But
yeah, they can swing Ben Simmons. It's going to be nasty.
I will say that McKinnon from the Colorado Avalanche is a player that gets me to pay attention to hockey.
Yeah.
So, like there are very few players that bring me in. Like when Aaron Judge was hitting
slanging home runs,
I was like, okay, I got to start watching some more baseball. Shohei Ohtani, I was like, okay, I'm gonna watch some baseball.
Giancarlo Stanton popping them off. Oh yeah, Fernando Tatis, he's fun to watch too.
But yeah, like McKinnon and Kaprizov are like the only two basketball players that make me want to watch hockey.
I have a little bit of MLB news that I forgot to mention.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Miguel Sano is the quickest professional baseball player to get to 1,000 strikeouts. He did it in like 80 less plate appearances
than Babe Ruth.
Than I don't know, the next person.
Because Babe Ruth has the record for most strikeouts.
Well, I don't know, but he did it in like 600. I don't even know what it is. 680.
80 games less.
Yeah, 80 games less than the next person. I think something like that.
So that was the issue. So remember David Ortiz with the Twins?
Yeah.
And they got rid of him because the owner said you're not a home run hitter.
Yep.
Yeah, that was their issue. They said every time he was trying to hit a home run, it would either be a home run or a strikeout. And then they gave him the Red Sox, and the Red Sox were like, go ahead and try to hit home runs. And then he did hit a whole bunch of home runs.
Yeah.
I feel like Sano, like you got to just deal with the strikeouts. Like, yeah, he's going to strike out a lot, but when he doesn't
hit you 30,
out,
40 home runs a year.
30, 40, 600 feet home runs. Like,
yeah. I think Buxton had the longest though.
What about Buxton the home runs?
Yeah, when he that's why Buxton is such a good like defensive pitcher. Like when he runs and he slides, he just kind of like skates.
Yeah, he does. He bounces. Anyway, that's all of our hockey news because that's all we care enough to talk about. But we have some NFL news. We're going to start with some Vikings news because, we're in Minnesota. So I don't know if you saw, but all week the top discussion has been, is Mike Zimmer on the hot seat? And most people agree that if the Vikings start 0-4, Zimmer's gone. And that's like general consensus. Everybody agrees that's when it's going to happen. My general opinion on Zimmer is he's a good coach, but he's supposed to be a defensive-minded coach, and the defense was historically bad last year.
Not all his fault. He had a lot of key injuries.
They're starting bad this year, and you can put a lot of that on Spielman as well. But
there's a lot of as a defense, it's bad, but the individual players throughout there are doing really well.
And football is one of those sports that one player's bad can ruin your whole side of the ball. And the offensive line has been an issue for years and hasn't been fixed. Again, that's Spielman. I just always thought Zimmer might have been one of those guys that was promoted beyond his point of comfort, like elite level defensive coordinator.
Sure.
Good head coach. I think that's where you run into a lot of issues. And I think his son, Adam Zimmer, is now co-defensive coordinator, right?
He's something in there.
And the defense
he was a linebacker coach at one point for us.
And I think that's one of those situations. Like we don't even have a defensive coordinator. It's co-defensive coordinators. That's already an issue to me.
Like Andre Patterson is there too.
Like get some solidarity. Like go get a big name defensive coordinator. I'm all for Clemson. Clemson's assistant coaches get paid $2 and $3 million. Like that is a ton of money for an assistant coach. Do that. Like overpay somebody's coordinator or somebody like a former head coach and overpay them to be a great coordinator for you. they might be gone in a year or two, but I think hiring up from within is clearly not the solution. But anyway, that's my
outside of Andre Patterson, who I think is brilliant in himself, and I'm not sure how we've kept him for so long without him getting poached by someone else.
If the Vikings were winning playoff games, he'd be gone.
He's an amazing coach, Andre Patterson.
I mean, the Bills quarterback coach is good. He's still with the Bills. Bieniemy still. Some coaches just aren't taken and poached or whatever. But anyway, speaking of Spielman having some issues, 0 out of the 11 draft picks played a snap, and I think that's huge. So they're always stocking up picks because the draft is more about throwing darts at a dartboard, and the more darts you have, the better chance you have for a bullseye.
Right.
Because it's that big of I have no idea if this player is going to be good. There's very few. Yes, that player's going to be good. There's very few Quentin Nelsons, Rashawn Slaters. There's very few of those guys where you watch them and you're like, yep, that guy's going to be awesome. You can't have 11 strikeouts. And so we need to put Davis out there. I don't know what's going on with him.
Yeah, Derisaw's slowly getting back into where he needs to be. And I would rather them, Rashad Hill's obviously not great. But Ezra Cleveland had his highest his essentially best blocking game last week. So Ezra's possibly,
developing. He wasn't bad last year. Our weak point is left tackle, center, and right guard.
Yeah. Udo did better too. Udo did better too, but
but still, Udo was doing well in practice. Plenty of people do well in practice and suck in games. Bashad Breeland looked great in the second practice. I was one of those
people.
Look great in practice and suck in games.
Yeah.
Anybody who's played a sport knows that dude that looks like a starter in practice, and then you get him into a game and bricks every shot, can't catch a ball. It does, whatever sport you want to mention, there's always those guys. I think Udo is one of those guys.
Yeah, I think it's definitely taken him a little bit to adjust to real games and not going against the same opponents.
And I think Bradbury's
been very struggling like crazy.
Right. I don't know what happened with him. So anyway, 0 out of 11 starters. That's huge. And then you look at acquisitions.
I see the Darisaw, sure. Yep. So you can say out of the 10 starters, Mond isn't going to get any playing time. So there's 2 right there that shouldn't be out there. Anyway,
Kendricks was playing hurt, Barr was out, and Vigil
was playing. Kendricks and Vigil were there.
They were there, but apparently they were limited participants, so they were hurt, so they should have been on limited minutes, right?
Yeah.
Chaz Surratt doesn't play a single snap.
Yeah, Surratt was one that was super surprising for me because you want someone to spot. Vigil played great. Vigil played been
both games.
Yeah, Vigil's been like a steal for us. But do you have to put Vigil in the spot where Vigil? Would you rather have Vigil focusing on one thing, and having to do that thing, or do you want to give him a little bit of freedom like you give Barr and Kendricks, right? Because I think Vigil's almost instinctually he kind of knows what to do.
If you give each player a chance to just focus on one thing, you'll have the most success.
Surratt is quick enough to just be out there and spy Kyler. You know what I mean? He's
right.
He's quick.
You have one duty: rush the passer that's down. You have one duty: spy Kyler. And Daniil Hunter got outran by Kyler. I was watching. There's so many times.
But Daniil also reached one arm out and was like, "Nope, you're gonna stay with me."
There was a lot of plays where Kyler was getting away, and I was like, "These D linemen are all too slow. We need a linebacker in the backfield to chase him down." I was like, I genuinely had the thought during the Cardinals game, Eric Wilson would have caught him there.
Yeah,
I think it would be nice to put Chaz Surratt out there. And so Chaz Surratt, why is he not playing? That's a big thing for me. There's a safety that we took. I don't know.
Xavier Woods played good.
Xavier Woods, he was hitting hard, but just saying, and then we go to acquisitions. Bashad Breeland has been absolutely awful.
Garbage.
Out of 99 qualifying corners, he ranks number 99.
You can't tell me you can't throw Cameron Dantzler out there and he'd be better than that.
Patrick Peterson ranks 92 or 71.
71, yep.
And Mackenzie Alexander ranks 92. That's all terrible. And that's on the defense. That's not on Spielman. Yeah, you acquired 2 players.
They're getting our DBs are getting, our DBs have to be carried by our safeties. Our corners have to be
and
carried by
our
safeties.
33-year-old safety and our first year other safety. Like this is Xavier Woods' first time in the system, and Harry is old.
Yeah.
I mean, like Harry's still
they're
good.
They're getting carried by our corners are getting carried by the guys behind them.
And if Barr was there, they'd be getting like in the flats, like in the flat and like short passes, they'd be getting carried by Barr and Kendricks.
Yeah. And Vigil.
And that's another thing. So corners and O-line have been terrible basically every year with Zimmer. My thing is like fix it, or like I'm okay. Like I don't want him fired because I think he's a good coach, but it's one of those things. It's like it might be better. Might be better to just let you go at this point. I think the Vikings upset Seattle.
I think so too. Yeah, I think we've played 2 games that were winnable, like very clearly winnable. So
I think there's a chance they upset Seattle, I should say, because the Seattle plays really well in the beginning of the season and they play well against the Vikings. I wanted to talk about that because I was frustrated with the D-backs and the O-line and the fact that it's been bad for years with no fix. Yeah. Like what's the point of even sending a team out there if you're not going to get them better? Cook hasn't played all week, so Dalvin Cook's most likely out against Seattle.
Could be a lot of veteran rest. There's been a lot of veteran rest lately.
So. Apparently Dalvin was an injury. So because Dalvin hasn't practiced all week.
Yeah.
And then Barr's still out too. So first of all, Anthony Barr didn't play last year. He's not playing this year.
Darrisaw Barr have been the.
And it's like we can't just blame injuries because we blame injuries every year.
Yeah.
So because like next man up, well, our next men up are not playing. They're not playing well. So just throw rookies out there. Speaking of throwing rookies out there, Justin Fields is starting over Andy Dalton.
And Nick Foles.
And then once he feels better, apparently Dalton will go back in. No.
Until Fields wins, who are they playing?
The Chicago.
Okay, never mind. That's gonna be tough.
Yeah, I was gonna say Chicago plays Cleveland.
Yeah,
they will lose that game. But yeah, I just want to talk about that. I think it's smart to play Fields. I would keep playing Fields even if they lose. If Dalton's out 3 games and they go 0-3, keep Fields out there.
Yeah,
there's no.
He's not gonna learn anything. Okay, so I was like, I told you I've been following that League of Legends coach, and he's sometimes he just tells people to go in and die. Like you're not gonna learn anything if you don't do it.
Afro said the same thing today.
You're not going to learn anything if you don't try things. So
Afro said, if you don't understand what a role or champion is doing, you need to play that champion in that role. Like if you don't know how to play against a top laner, that means you need to be playing more top lane. And it's the same, like just go in, die. go in
and die. Worst case scenario, you lose and you go next. Like you're like, all right, we got to play another one. Like,
worst case scenario, you go in, you take last in the NFC North, and then you have a top pick.
Okay, the Bears, they're not going to take last in the NFC North. The Lions have that spot. So,
dude, Jared Goff can't spell MVP without Goff.
He's not playing bad. Jared Goff's not playing bad, but like the Lions suck. They just always suck.
Yeah, they have a lot. It's one of those teams. They're like the Jets. There's so many positions that need to get better.
Yeah,
the Jags. There's so many. You can have a great player at 1 or 2 positions, and that's not enough. We just mentioned that you can have 8 great players and 3 bad players, and your team could be terrible. Because football, football is my favorite sport. It's my dad's favorite sport. It takes 11 guys on either side.
That's almost pretty accurate. To like, if you look at our offense, 8 players that are really good outside of like the 3 offensive linemen we have. Like,
yeah, I would say 7. So, I think with the Vikings it's 7 because Conklin has looked absolutely bad.
Yeah. Let's say throw Herndon out there.
My dad and I talked about Herndon, like why is he not out there again? But again, there you go. Like you get 7 good players and 4 bad players. You look terrible. That's the difference. Those 4 players are the reason why you lose a game by 1 point, and why yes, your kicker missed a kick that should not have been missed, but it's the Vikings. You got to expect that. That's why you don't make it to a game.
Why did they never go for 2
ever
after they missed it? Why didn't you? In my opinion, our offense is good. If we're in the red zone and we're at the 2-yard line, why do we not go for 2?
With the best red zone quarterback over the last 2 seasons?
Yeah. They can't guard any of our people
No.
Go for 2, man.
Go for 2. You have Dalvin Cook too. Like
Dalvin Cook, CJ Ham is usable.
I don't know if you saw, but Kirk was dubbed White Lamar after that run.
Oh, well, yeah.
You got White Lamar back there. Have him run it in for 2.
He could, yeah.
Man, just so frustrating. Like, I don't know. They have so many things that seem like obvious decisions, but that's the difference.
Once again, bring us in these meetings.
There's those 3 or 4 players that's why you lose a 3-point game to the Bengals. That's why you lose the 1-point game. Like those players, like those 7-8 great players are keeping you in the game. And those 3 or 4 bad Breland, Alexander, Udo, Bradbury, like these are the players that are costing you the game while all the rest are trying to push those guys forward.
Yeah.
So that's just, that's our Vikings talk. It's
They need to bounce back this week. They need to bounce back this week because the contract of us always going to Seattle is finally up, so they're finally coming here. And I think we're like 5-1 or something like that, 0-7 or 1-5, 0-7.
It's bad.
Like
it's bad.
For
but
Seattle.
Before we get into the preview of week 3, the last thing I want to say is if you watched Thursday Night Football last week, you thought Giants dude who went offsides cost them the game, which in my opinion, the game was lost.
Pretty bang bang. It was pretty bang bang.
But it was before there was I can't remember what happened before that, but before the field goal even happened, there was a egregious penalty that should have been called that wasn't. So I don't think the Giants got Bradbury or Dexter Lawrence should have gotten blamed. But when that happened, I was like, I thought he anticipated that perfectly.
Yeah, it was boom, boom. It was boom, boom.
And that's because he's on the ball. It makes sense. And everybody's saying, how could you go offsides when you're the closest to the ball? Well, I thought he when I did that, I was like, dude, that's textbook. Like when they were teaching us, because I played edge rusher for 1 season when I played football.
Sure.
They taught you when you watch the ball, because if that ball moves a hair, that's a live ball.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to hike it. As soon as that ball moves, even if he's up, you can go. And so I thought when he pulled it out and he went, I was like, dude, that's a perfect. I don't think that's offside. Well, the NFL officials, after reviewing after the game was over, stated he was not offsides, and the Giants got a phone call basically saying, sorry, we messed up. Just I don't get that. The NFL and the NBA have that post official review where the officials say how many calls we missed and how many calls we made.
The L2M report, last 2-minute report for the NBA.
If I'm the coach,
the day after the games,
I make sure that is in my junk folder. If it's an email, it goes straight to my junk. And if it's on paper, it goes straight in the shredder. And if it's in person, I shut the door on their face. I don't want to hear, oh, by the way, you would have won had we done our jobs right.
Yeah.
Okay. That's great. So does that mean that's counted as half a win? Now it's a tie. Can we move that to the tie column now?
Right.
I hate it. It's dumb. But he was not offsides. The Giants would have won because Hopkins shanked it, just like Greg Joseph. Oh, man. But yeah, let's get into the preview of week 3. Last week, 75% on our winners predictions, but only 38% on wins plus cover. So 75% picked 3/4 of the games got the winner right, but less than half the games got the points correct. So not great. Similar to last year again. First couple weeks, first part of the season, terrible. But if the bets were just winners, would have been great. But this week, again, just chronological order. Carolina, Houston's going on right now. Put down that Carolina wins and that Houston will cover. I don't think that anymore. I think Carolina wins and covers -8. I just think that's going to happen. I think Carolina is underrated, and I've been thinking about. So I didn't realize that they've had Hassan Reddick. I think that's huge. I liked him on the Cardinals, and I didn't realize that he was on the Panthers now. I don't know. I feel good about the Panthers. Something about them. They just seem like a good team. And I originally thought Houston was going to cover, but I think Carolina -8 wins and covers. Washington versus Buffalo. I think Buffalo wins, but Washington covers. Buffalo is -9. I think that's a big spread. I think Buffalo wins because I don't think they are starting out as good as they initially wanted.
Right.
And Washington's playing Heineke still. Buffalo's defense is good. Washington's defense hasn't been as good as everybody expected. Right. So I think they win. They can, even if they win by a touchdown, Washington still covers. So that's why I think they have to win by quite a bit in order to cover. So I would say, Washington covers, but Buff wins. Cleveland, Chicago. It said Cleveland wins and covers. They're 7-point favorites. Chicago's defense has not been impressive to me for a defense that has so many studs on it. Yeah, they just haven't been impressive. And then it's Justin Fields' first game as a starter against Myles Garrett.
And Cleveland's good.
And Chicago's O-line is rated really poorly right now. So
is ours.
Justin Fields is going to be running for his life, but luckily for him, he's got the athleticism to do it. But it's hard to outrun Cleveland's defense. So I think Cleveland wins by a touchdown. It might be exactly a touchdown. It might be by 7. It'll be close on the cover bet at least. Again, all these it's not betting advice. Just take that with a grain of salt.
Unless you want to win 38%.
Unless you only want to win 38% of your bets, which they say in order to make money, you have to make at least 52%. So do the opposite of what we say. And just don't take it as advice. Don't be stupid. Baltimore, like we are. Yeah. Baltimore, Detroit. I said Baltimore wins and covers. They're 7.5-point favorites. The Lions are just
the Lions.
Just the Lions. They're garbage. They're so bad.
Always. They don't have Marvin Jones. How are they going to win any games?
Well, and they always seem decent. Like before the season started, I actually thought they might be competitive, but they haven't even seemed competitive.
They were competitive for a half versus the Packers.
Yeah. Then what happened?
Then Aaron Rodgers decided to throw 4 touchdowns.
Right, and watch what happens when Lamar Jackson decides, I've already run for 3 touchdowns. I'm going to try to pass it around now. I don't think the Lions are going to be able to hold off the Ravens. Colts, Titans. I think the Titans are 5.5-point favorites. I think the Colts win it outright. I don't know how you thought about that.
Let's see. I don't know. Tennessee did just have an impressive comeback win versus the
Seahawks.
So
I thought the same thing. But I think the Colts defense is pretty good. My issue is that it's going to be a split start between Brett Hundley and Jacob Eason. So, I don't know. I don't know. Something tells me the Colts are going to win. I have a really low opinion of Tennessee this year.
Yeah.
I thought they were going to be way better than how they've looked. Like the fact that they even had to come back from the Seahawks just to me is like,
right.
Before the season started, people were saying that was going to be a close game, but like competitive, and it didn't look competitive until the end. And so I don't know. Tennessee is too up and down, and there's another team. Like they probably are just going to play down to their opponent. So we'll see. Like most of these, I wouldn't bet, especially with only getting 38% first 2 weeks. Right. Why would I want to keep losing money if I were actually?
We could look at this and like, what's our like our pick for 100% going to happen? Probably the Arizona Jacksonville game. That's probably the one I'd be like, Arizona should slaughter them. So
next is Chargers Chiefs, and they're 6.5. That was one I was very questionable on. Yeah. Chiefs have to win by at least a touchdown, and the Chargers are good.
Yeah,
but then I thought it's at Chiefs. I thought Chiefs win and cover purely because
Pat
Mahomes coming off a loss. They're not going to be happy about the loss. They're at home. I think they win. And the Chargers, I feel like they are not to the point of where everybody wants them to be. Like they're really good, but against other playoff teams, you see where their faults are.
Sure.
It's not left tackle, I'll tell you that. New Orleans, New England. New England are 3-point favorites. So I said they win and cover. I wouldn't be surprised to see the Saints win here.
Yeah, the New Orleans has been playing really good defense. However, like very low scoring games. However, the Saints
they weren't low scoring against the Packers.
The Patriots are low scoring.
Okay,
they've been low scoring. So, but like I said, or like you said, the Saints can put up numbers just like that. So we'll see what happens.
My pick was Patriots cover the -3. Because I don't know, -3, it's like, okay, yeah, they can win by a field goal.
Sure.
But honestly, a lot of these games, I just wouldn't bet. I think halfway through the season, bets become way easier. But this first half, teams don't know who they are yet.
Right.
Like, even if betting
who we thought they were.
Even if betting were legal in Minnesota, I wouldn't be making these actual bets. This is what people expect from sports talk. So I want to give people what they want. Falcons versus Giants. Giants are 3-point favorites. I say Falcons win outright.
Yeah, Giants are bad. They find ways to lose somehow. It doesn't matter.
So do the Falcons. This is going to be just teams trying to give away wins give away the win. Like, no, you win. No, we win. No, you win. It's going to be rough. I think it's going to be super high scoring. but I think it'll be something like 31-38, sort of like just it's going to be a big, like the last team to get the ball is going to score a touchdown to win, which is going to be why they cover the 3. But I think Falcons win outright.
I want to see Saquon do something because he has like 80 yards on the season.
If you take away his 141-yard run, he averages less than 2 yards carry.
Yeah, I want to see Saquon do something.
Well, the Falcons are a perfect team to do something against that because
that's what I'm saying.
They have Deion Jones, and that's it. Yep. Bengals, Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh are 3.5-point favorites. I said Bengals win outright.
Yeah, that's a good one. Pittsburgh's not Pittsburgh.
I thought Pittsburgh would win, and then the Bengals would cover, and it'd be like a 1-2 point game because it's in Heinz Field. But I don't know. I think the Roethlisberger's apparently dealing with an injury.
Yeah.
Steelers receivers are still struggling to catch the ball. Their defense hasn't been as good as people want it to be. Bengals are being better than people thought they would be.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think Bengals are going to surprise them. Before the season started, I said the Steelers have a chance to take last in their division.
Yeah.
I still think that's possible, and I think if the Bengals win here, it just proves it. But anyway, it's just another one of those things. I'm betting with what I'm thinking, not what people want to hear there.
Right.
Arizona, Jacksonville. Arizona are 7.5-point favorites. I think they win and cover. I'm done saying the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to actually be worth anything. I thought that they would, even in the games that they would lose, they would cover these first 2, but nope, they're terrible.
Jaguars are still the Jaguars, regardless of Trevor Lawrence. So
Trevor Lawrence just doesn't want to win again. They're going to go 0-17, and then he's gonna be like, yeah, I just want to take this first year off because I've won every game in my life, basically. So I want to start off. Once we start winning, I don't want to lose again. So we're 0-17 and then 17-0 the rest of my career.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what he wants. That's what he's doing. But yeah, Arizona's going to win. Probably beat him by 17 touchdowns. So
I hope so.
Kyler Murray's going to run 5 in, throw 5 in. D-Hop's going to catch 3 out of those. D-Hop's going to throw 1. D-Hop's going to get a rushing. They're going to they're going to score a defensive.
With Kyler out there somehow.
Right, Kyler's going to do a return touchdown. The Jets versus the Broncos. Broncos win and cover. This could have said -20, and I would have picked the Broncos to cover.
Yeah.
I said the Jets might have covered if they were at home, but Zach Wilson playing against an amazing Broncos defense in Denver.
Quarterback's first time there. It's weird because the elevation's different
and they just don't know what to do. Yeah. I think the Broncos win by the 10.5 for sure, and Teddy's gonna just drop some dimes in there
to Cortland Sutton.
Teddy's gonna throw at least 3 to Cortland Sutton, 1 to KJ Hamler because I'm rooting for KJ Hamler this year.
I told you that one guy, the Tim Patrick. Yeah, he got one. I told you they got a good. He's good too.
I'm just I don't know. Something about KJ Hamler. I like him a lot. He's not on my fantasy team or anything. I just think he's a good player.
Yeah, neither is Cortland Sutton. He's not on mine either. So.
I don't want to talk about.
He had a good game.
Team. I think they suck. I'm 1-1. I still think they suck.
He had a great game last week. Cortland Sutton. He had like 130 yards or something.
He's really good. Yeah. But I think in Denver against a good defense, Jets are just terrible, just so bad.
All right.
I think they lose. And
take us to John Gruden.
Miami versus Vegas. Vegas are 4-point favorites. Tua might not play. Win. I think
loss for them.
For them, man. Win. I think Vegas covers that 4. I don't think Miami can overcome. Like, it's Jacoby Brissett, and if I'm being 100% honest, just sorry, I think Jacoby Brissett's better than Tua.
I don't think either of them have blown me away.
Neither of them blow me away, but I think Jacoby's better than Tua.
Jacoby
was a winning season with the Colts.
Yeah, Jacoby. They said he's very serviceable. For a couple games, he can be kind of electric for a couple games, but he's not long-term answer.
No, but he's not supposed to be long-term here. But if he's serviceable for a couple games, he might be able to pull him through here. I just think the Raiders are hot. Last year, every year the Raiders seem to start hot. So maybe later in the year you start betting the other way. But yeah, I'll take the Raiders here. The Rams versus the Bucks. The Bucks are only 1-point favorites, so that just means it's a pick'em game. Like whoever you pick to win is the winner. So I picked the Bucks.
This is surprising. This is surprising. Yeah, okay. You're probably going to say the same thing I'm saying. So this is surprising since Tom Brady's probably had like the best 4-game stretch of his career these last 4 games.
Yep. It is his. But so the big thing when you are betting, even though this isn't actual betting advice, the big thing when you're betting is to look for like weird trends and any maybe records people are going for, or somebody's family member died. It's like those sorts of things tend to push people through. By the way, I don't know if you saw Christian McCaffrey is hurt and out for the game.
That's why I didn't take him number 1 overall, Luke.
Hamstring. Tom Brady is 1 or 2 games away from Peyton Manning's 4 touchdowns. Tom Brady's last 4 games, he's had at least 4 passing touchdowns, and Peyton Manning has the record with 5. I think Tom Brady's going to do everything in his power to break that record. So I think this game and next game, Tom Brady's throwing at least 4 passing touchdowns. So I would take the Bucs because Tom Brady's at the point in his career where that's what he's going for. Tom Brady says he would give up 2 of his Super Bowl rings for that undefeated season as well. So like Tom Brady is going for an undefeated season and he's going for records. One of those records that he can get is this is the hardest game for them. I'm all for the Bucs. I think the Bucs win by more. If it was even a 3-point favorite, I'd pick the Bucs. So
sure.
It's that sort of thing. Like that sort of thing, I feel like throws people off. They don't pay attention to it. If Tom Brady's going for a record, you expect him to get it. Minnesota, Seattle. Seattle are 2-point favorites. I think Seattle wins and covers, but I do think the Vikings have a good chance to win. I just think if I were to be betting, if I were to be putting money on it, I'd probably bet on the Seahawks. I hope Minnesota wins. I really hope they do. I'm sick of losing to the Seahawks.
Yeah. I think the narrative that a lot of fans seem to have changes if we win this game. So
I don't think it does, but I like the optimism.
Well, those fans aren't fans. So.
Right. Well, like most of the Minnesota fans are looking for a reason to be mad at the team. Like most Minnesota fans are like waiting for Kirk to do bad so they can complain about him. Yeah. They want Kirk to get sacked.
He's not even doing bad. He's not even doing bad.
He's not, but they want him to. Yeah. And they want him to lose. Even if they lose, they can blame him. Like they want it. So yeah, they're not real fans. And if I were voting with my heart, Vikings win by 10. But my head says Seahawks are going to probably win on a last-minute touchdown. Like Russell Wilson scrambles for 14 to 15 seconds and then throws a wide-open touchdown to DK Metcalf because he was getting guarded by Bashad Breeland. It's something like that. It's going to be something. It's a classic Vikings Seahawks game. It's going to be a shanked field goal. It's going to be a offsides. It's going to be a muffed snap that gets dropped and ran back for a touchdown by the Seahawks. It's going to be something. There was one game where they got a holding call that took them out of field goal range, which then when they tried to pass it, Kirk threw an interception. Like something. It's something. All right. Green Bay, San Francisco. San Francisco's 3.5-point favorites. I think they win and cover. I think Green Bay is good. Good team, but San Francisco not only kind of like owns them, but Green Bay's weakest point is in the trenches and San Francisco's strongest point is in the trenches. Right. And the game is won in the trenches. So I think San Francisco, I think it's going to be disgusting. The last time these two teams played, San Francisco had 249 yards on the ground before contact.
Yeah, that was they did something similar the week before.
So, they did the same thing to the Vikings. So I think even with Raheem Mostert out, Kyle Shanahan's system, he's gonna dominate. And I think the Niners win by at least 3.5. Philadelphia, Dallas. Dallas is 4-point favorites. I think Dallas wins. Philly covers. I think it's like a 1 to 3-point win. Those teams are very evenly matched to me. Jalen Hurts is clearly developing. Dallas tends to be like we talked with the Falcons and the Giants. Dallas is one of those teams that just likes to play down to their opponents, try to give games away. And I think it's going to be a close one. And that's it. Again, not betting advice. And honestly, a lot of these games this week, I feel very not confident about my selections. So maybe this is the week I go like 70% and get them get so many right because I feel so not confident, because I felt really confident last week, which I got 75% of the winners. So maybe that's why I felt confident. But so many of these games, I just don't like. This is why I mentioned it last week. I don't get how people can bet this early in the season. Like I post like 5 or 6 games. I think I understand what teams are.
Sure.
But
yeah,
they got one less preseason game. So the first week felt like preseason, which means week 2 felt like week 1. Like it just, I don't get it. I don't get how people so confidently bet and then make so much money. Like I have a relative who I think it was 2015 made $30,000 one year, and then the next year made $100,000 in bets. My goodness,
that'd be nice.
Well, yeah, it would be nice, but luckily betting is not legal because I might find myself being 38% and being in the hole for these first weeks.
Right.
I'm usually really good on March Madness. Last 2 years on March Madness, I've gotten the entire one side of the bracket right. I'm usually pretty good at that. There was one year I got the entire one side of the bracket right and the entire other side wrong.
I just picked Syracuse.
Just because you like them. Because
Melo, Johnny Flynn, Wes Johnson.
Oh, God. Yeah. Best player ever. Yeah. Thanks. This was episode 14. And hope you enjoyed. Again, if there's somebody in your life that you think might need help, reach out to them because it's necessary. Not just this month, not just because it's awareness month. This is all the time. And take that into life, not just the people that need help. If you are looking to talk to somebody yourself, just reach out to somebody. We mentioned earlier, like the worst thing that can happen is the crush says no.
Yeah.
The worst thing that can happen is that person doesn't text you for like 4 hours because they're working and then they text you back. Or like they miss your call. You call them, they call you back, or they text you instead. Like reach out to people. And if you're looking to interact with more people, don't wait for them. Just reach out. And if there's people that need help, that you think might need help, that one hello might be the biggest difference for them.
Yeah, the how are you doing today?
How are you doing today? Makes their day, might make their month.
You don't need to be someone you know. Like you see someone on the street, just say hi.
Yeah.
Say hello.
Yeah, don't pretend you're getting a phone call so you don't have to give somebody a polite nod.
Yeah.
That polite nod might, like, you ignored them and now the next thing they do, they go off and they're kind of rubbed the wrong way. That's the way I drive. I don't get road rage at all.
Oh, I don't either.
A lot of people that drive with me are like, how did you not honk there? Like that sort of thing. It's like you honk or you cut somebody off, and then the next thing you cut them off, they go to the grocery store and they cut somebody off in line at the grocery store. They, try to take the last thing on the shelf because they just got cut off. So subconsciously they're mad. Like,
oh, whenever I have someone just say like riding me in the car, and I know that they're angry because they don't like the speed I'm going. I let them pass, and while they're passing, I'm just full smile. I'm a full smile because then they can be like, all right, like I'm mad that this guy's driving slow, but he's happy.
Well, now I'm mad at him because he's smiling. He didn't even know he was driving slow.
Yeah, I don't know. Like that would.
Well, exactly, but that's what I mean. Like, just be positive. Reach out to people. The littlest things make the biggest difference. And this month is like suicide and abuse awareness. And you never know. We've had people close to us that did actually, they finished what they wanted to do and they did kill themselves, and it was extremely sad. It's weird to go to a funeral of an 18-year-old or 19-year-old when you're 19. It's strange. And we might have younger listeners out there. We might have older listeners out there. It affects everyone. So just make the effort. You'll be amazed at how good you feel and how big of a difference you make. But yeah, thank you for listening. This is episode 14. And we will see you next week. We've had some good interaction, a lot more views, especially on Twitter the past week. So we thank you all very much. And thanks again.
14.
14. There you go.
Nice.
Episode 14. everybody have a great rest of your weekend. I hope your team wins, and we're here for you. We care about you. So
all love.
If we're those people, go ahead and reach out in the comments. We'll have a great conversation with you, and on Twitter. GG.
GG.